accommodation, office layout, and office communication and correspondence. So first, we will be talking about the office accommodation. Office accommodation refers to the selection of appropriate office location. That is, office accommodation refers to the selection of appropriate office location, office building, all this. So this is a very office. Now, when we talk about office accommodation, when we all are, as many of them are working people in the present scenario, so all of them, they start working. When they go for work, what is the most important thing we see when we are going for work? That is the office accommodation. That is where it is situated, in which building it is situated, and what is the location of that building. Why do we see all these? Because we can say that there are many important aspects regarding this, a selection of the office accommodation, and this is a very, very important aspect in the public office administration. Because now we will answer some of the questions, that why it is needed, why office accommodation is needed, why it should be addressed, and how it has to be planned, how it has to be selected. Now, to answer all these questions, we will talk about the office accommodation. Now, what is office accommodation? Office accommodation refers to the selection of appropriate office location and office building. Why? Because now when we will start to answer, first we will take up office location. Now, if a person is having a garments, clothes shop, or when we talk about the ready-made garments, then if he opens that shop in a residential area or in a flat, many of them might not be able to locate that shop. Many of them will not know that the shop is there. He might face losses. So he has to select an office or a shop in the market area where people frequently come and go. Frequently, the movement of people should be frequent, and that should be placed in a area where everybody catches the eye. That is, if we go on the road, everybody they have to see that room, that shop. Then he will get the publicity, and many of them will come to know about that shop. So likewise, office location is very, very important. Now, this I have taken the example of office location in the perspective of business. Now, when we talk about the government offices or private offices, software offices, we talk about they are being placed in an area where there is ample space for parking, ample space for transport facility. That is common. We can say there should be public transport facility. All of them have to be taken care of. That is another important thing, where when we go for office buildings in the departmental or government organizations, or in the software or the private sector. So we can say that office accommodation refers to the selection of appropriate office location and office building. It is very important that office accommodation, based on the office accommodation only, the work of the office can be recognized, the worth of the office, everything, the name of the office, the people in the office, everything can be recognized by this office location. Now, if you select an office which is a software office, now when we talk about a software office, we come across, when we say that there is an office software office, suddenly everybody will say, yeah, it might be situated in high-tech city or in that area, Gachibowli area, or wherever that it is. Why? Because that area is famous for the software sector or an IT sector, we can say. And if we talk about a government office, we come across stating that, oh, that office might be near the secretariat or in the heart of the city, we can say. Why? Because all the government offices will be situated in the heart of the city, where public transport system should be very good. The public transport system should be very good and it should be accessible to everybody, because the government works for the people, the welfare of the people. The people have to have access to the government, because to the government offices, right from a public representative, that is from an MLA, MP, to a layman, a small farmer, or a common citizen, from all the various sectors, people visit the government office. So office accommodation, based on the nature of the office, the work of the office, all of them, the accommodation has to be selected. And moreover, the office building is also very, very important. So office accommodation is when the organization goes for office accommodation, it has to select the location and as well as the office building. That will be a very, very important factor for this. Now, coming to the factors which are responsible for office accommodation, they are, as I told you, they are location, building, layout, shape and size, convenience for the staff and the visitors. Now, I explained you all these factors. That once again, I'll go on. That is the location. The location of the office should be very important. It is very important because when we talk about the government offices, it has to be situated where everybody can come easily. The public transport should be accessible to everybody. And the office building, the building should be very huge, because daily, if you see government offices, every day hundreds of people visit the government offices. So there should be an ample space for the people to wait for the officials, carry out their work, and to get their problems addressed. All these have to be taken care of. So office building is also very, very important. Now, the third one is office layout. Now, what is this office layout? Office layout is the inner structure of the office. That might be the equipments, the infrastructure, the machinery, the tools, techniques, whatever the office is using to deliver the services, that is known as a layout. Why? Because if, for example, if the office has a very good location, it is situated in a prime area where accessibility to everybody is very good. Everybody can take a public transport, can come to that government office, everything can be done. But now, and the building is also very huge. Everybody can accommodate in that building and everybody can attend that and stay and make their works completed also. But if the organization or if the department does not have proper infrastructure means if it is does not having good laptops or computers, chairs, tables, all the stationery, then the office might not be able to work systematically or cannot be able to perform well, because If it is having huge office, if that office is able to accommodate many of them also, it might not be able to complete the given task or cannot address the problems of the citizens because of the lack of infrastructure facilities. That might be it might be related to the computers, the infrastructure, the tools and techniques, or the facilities. All of them come under the layout of the office. Then the shape and size. As I told you, the shape and size also. Shape is, if it is crooked, if it is narrow, then and if it is not visible, if it is situated at the end of the area, then at the dead end, if it might not be visible to everybody, and everybody might not be having the access to go there. So the size of the office and shape of the office also have a very important role to play to attract the customers, to know about the customers or the visitors, and also about the staff. That is also very, very important. Then the last one is convenience to the staff and visitors. As I was telling you, convenience to the staff and visitors. If the office is situated in the center of the city, then there will be a good public transport system, because as today also we all know that India is a developing country, and 60 to 70% more than 75% also are dependent on public transport systems. So where they can, so these offices have to be situated or have to be established in the places where there could be better transport facilities. That might be through a public transport. It might be bus, train, or any other public transport system. So there should be a very good transport system for the staff also. Why? Because if the staff has good transport system, and then they can reach the office on time, they can work with pleasant manner, because if they don't go late to the office, if the office is in the center of the city, or if it is near to the bus stop, or near to the railway station, or near to the metro station, then the traveling time will be shorter, and they could focus more on their work, because they will be on time. Their time will not be wasted on many of the traveling things. So the convenience to the staff and visitors is also very important, and the organizations should keep in mind these all important factors before establishing or before going for an office accommodation. So this is all about office accommodation. So once again, office accommodation refers to the selection of office location and office building. So there should be a good office building, and it should be situated in a good office location. Then the next, what are the factors? Factors are location of the building, then a building where it is situated, then the layout, shape and size, and the convenience of the staff and visitors should also be taken care of. Then coming to the next topic, that is layout. Now, what is layout? As I have discussed earlier, what is a layout? Layout is the physical facilities or the infrastructure, techniques, or tools which are being used in the office. They are considered to be the layout. Now we will discuss what might be the definition of a layout. Layout, it refers to a systematic arrangement of different facilities inside the office area. So systematic arrangement of different facilities inside the office area. If now we will talk about this. As I told you, if there is a good sitting arrangement, then people can sit for more time and they can complete their work and leave the organization. But if there is no space to sit, then they feel frustrated that this office does not provide any good accommodation, that is facilities, physical facilities to wait for my turn to come or to address my issues. So this will be a negative factor and it might create some problems for the organization and in the working of the organization also. This is about the sitting arrangement. Then if you talk about computers, now when we go to government offices, we come across these hurdles many times, that are they say that the server is down, the computers are not working, the printer is not working, we are unable to scan your copy, we are unable to contact you, we are unable to get your details, the server is slow. Now, at times when we go to these offices, we get frustrated. And we all know that in the government organizations, if you ask any of the citizens, they say that, oh, okay, going to a government office means we have to wait for one day because the work will not get completed. Why? Because they think that there is so much of hazards, or we can say there is so many things, problems occurring in the layout, that, and it might be about the stationery also. They might say that this is not there, that is not there, I am not able to address your problem, so please sit down, or wait for the manager, wait for the things to happen. So these are the things which will create a disturbance in the visitor's mind, and it will create a disturbance in the relation with the staff and the visitors also. So when the office has to be established, it has to be taken care of the layout also. Now, what is the need for this layout? As I told you. Now, why? What is the reason that we should have a proper layout? Because we will discuss some of the points in this. Why? We are questioning why there is a need for a proper layout. Because the first one, it impacts morale. Now, what is morale? Morale and motivation. These are two important words. Morale is the self-confidence of a person, and motivation is encouragement given to a person. Morale, that is, now impacts morale. That is, if I go to a government office and if I see that, and if that official tells me that the server is down, so I may not be able to process your work, then I feel that my morale will come down. My morale will come down means I will feel disgusted. I will feel that, okay, I am unable to get the things done. So I have to plan again and I have to come again. So with this, my self-confidence levels, which I have when I enter into the office, that yes, today I might finish my work and I can move on with my other works. But if the official says that we are unable to process your things, then it will be a direct impact on the morale of the visitor or the customer. And it also has an impact on the staff also, because they have to listen to the visitor stating that you don't work properly, you don't keep the things properly, all these. You don't have a very, very good system. You don't work with ethics, all these. You want to have, because everybody has a notion in our mind that government office means everybody will bail away the time. Everybody will just take the time out, chit-chatting, and they don't do the work. This is a notion which many of them have, but actually it does not do. Presently we see the government working more to the citizen services and providing in better facilities to the citizens, as we are experiencing e-governance, that and paperless governance, we can say, or paperless office, where we are addressing, or the government is addressing the problems of the citizens through all mails, online systems only. So why there is a need to have a proper layout? Because it impacts the morale of the citizens. That is, it might be the staff or the visitors. Then the second important aspect, we can say, why we have to go need for the layout is impacts efficiency rate. Efficiency rate, as I told you, the efficiency rate. If many of them just come and tell the official that you are not worthy, you are not working properly, you are not giving your 100% to the organization, then the efficiency of the employees might come down. They feel that they will have a question in themselves that, am I not working properly? Am I not doing my work properly? Am I not addressing to the people's problems? Which will create disturbance in the work of the employees. So it is very important to have a proper layout. Because if the computer does not work, it is not his problem. It is not the employee's problem. It is a server problem or the technical problem, or something has malfunctioning has happened. But we as a citizen, we just blame the government. We just blame the official who is sitting in the chair. So it might decrease his morale. He might feel that, yes, I am unable to perform well. That is the reason everybody is coming and questioning me. So this might be a disgusting factor for him, and it might impact his efficiency also. And third one is it impacts the tasks, and it impacts the task also. As I told you, the task will be more, and they might not be able to cope up with the task, and the work might be piled up, and every day they might be facing many issues regarding this. And with this, what happens? There will be increase in productivity. That is, they have to work more and more to address the problems of the organization. So this is all about office layout. Till now, we discussed about office accommodation and office layout. Now, the next topic in our office communication. Now, what is office communication? What is communication? Now, whatever we are doing now, we are conveying one with each other. This is communication. I am communicating with you. I am called as a communicator, and you are a communicatee. So I am communicating with you, and you are listening to me. So this is communication. So what is communication? Communication refers to the process of conveying messages, So this is a message which is being conveyed to you. Now, what is a message? That giving you knowledge about the subject, that in a proper channel, that is conveying of messages. Now, in this communication, in the office communication, there exists a process. That is, this process consists of 6 steps. The first one is ideation, ideation, ideation. Next is second step is encoding. Third, transmission. Fourth, receiving. Fifth, decoding. Sixth is acting. Once again, I am repeating the process of communication. The process of communication consists of 6 steps. Ideation, first one. Second, encoding, second one. Third, transmission. Fourth, receiving. Fifth, decoding. Sixth is acting. Now, first we will discuss what is ideation. Ideation means conceiving, or we can say the ideas, bringing about the idea. That is, now if somebody talks in an office, the ideas will be shared. So that is ideation. In a meeting, now take an example of a meeting. In a meeting, the sharing of ideas take place. The sharing of ideas take place. That is the first communication process. Idea is giving out a solution to a existing problem, or coming out with an alternative for an problem. That is an idea. So getting an idea, thinking process. The thinking is a mental process. That is, mentally we will be stimulating ourselves that to think. Now, if you want to travel from one place to another, from A to B, so you will be thinking. You will be thinking in your mind that how should I travel from A to B? Nobody will come and tell you that how to travel, because it is your problem. You have to address it. You have to travel. So you will be thinking how to travel. How to travel means, should I take a public transport? Should I take a private taxi, or should I go by walk, or should I ask my friend to drop? Now, these are the ideas which come up. This is ideation. That is the first process. Then the second is encoding. Encoding is words what we talk about. Now, idea has come into your mind. Now that has to be put forward. How will you put forward? Through the words. The words have to be in an, now you got some ideas in your mind. Now you have to tell somebody about your ideas. How will you tell? Through words. That is framing of sentences. You cannot say that whatever will comes to your mind and tell the person, connect everything and come on, say, answer me whether my idea is good or not. No, we cannot say like that. That is only language, we say, where we put words in a systematical procedure and convey that to the opposite person to understand our idea. That is known as encoding. Encoding, in this encoding, words play a very, very important role. Based on the words, whatever words are used, the opposite person will frame, or you have to put it in the words. First, you have to put it in a words. Words is in a systematical order, how you have to put to the opposite person, or how you have to convey to the opposite person. That is the second one, encoding. Third one is transmission, transfer of communication. Transfer of communication, transfer from, that is, how can we transfer? Now, presently, what we are experiencing is also transfer of communication. As I told you, I am communicating with you. I am a communicator and you are a communicatee, because between both of us, words are being exchanged. I am using systematical words to make you or impart you some knowledge about the subject. So transmission of communication. Now this transmission of communication, in this, two are very important. They are communicator and communicatee. And in this procedure, where the conveying of messages take place, communicator to the communicatee, the things whatever are audio, visual, or audio. Now, we are in an audio visual class where you can see me and also you can listen to my words. So I am discussing, I am putting forward the words which are easily available, which are where I am conveying the message, or where I am trying to explain you about a point. So audio visual, that is transmission, transmitting the ideas from one place, from one person to the other person, that is the transmission. Then the fourth one is receiving. Now, what do you understand by the word receiving? Now, you are on the opposite side. You are the receiver, because from my side, I have come out with the words. Now, you are the person who are receiving. So, receiving from the receiver, I am the transmitter, I am the communicator, I am throwing the words on to you. So, I am conveying message and you are receiving that message. So you are called as a receiver. And then now you got some information with you that goes on. Now that was the fourth step, receiver, receiving. The next step is decoding. Means you are trying to understand what I am conveying. That is decoding. Understood? Decoding. Decoding is where I have conveyed the message. I have come out with it. Now you are at the receiver's end and you are trying to analyze the things, what is happening, what I am trying to explain, all this. So that is decoding. Decoding. Then the last step is acting. Now, when you understand, when you receive the subject, when you decode the subject, decoding is when you understand the subject, then when you act, acting is when you can perform your exam properly, or when you understand the subject in an easy manner, where you can perform tomorrow in a better manner in the exam. That is the acting. So that there are 6 steps involved. Now when we talk this, I have explained you in the common scenario. Now when we take up this scenario in a government office, in a government office or in an organization, ideas, in a meeting, ideas come up. Through that ideas, everybody put that ideas through words, that is encoding. Then it is transmitted to one and another, from the communicators to the communicatee. Then receiving, everybody received that. Then they decode it, they understand it, and then they take a decision. That is only acting. So communication is a very, very important tool and technique in the working of the organization, because without communication, the organization may not be able to perform well. The organization may not be able to go on with the work and may not be able to perform well in their work also. So because of communication only, the organization might be getting good employees, good workers, and it is able to communicate with them properly in a proper channel, and they are able to get better results because of proper communication. So we can say that communication is a very, very important tool as well as a technique which helps the organization to attain the profits or to address the public responses or public grievances, we can say. And in turn, we can, when we talk about government officers, through communication, the government will be able to have a clarity between what the government is doing and because nowadays we are experiencing good governance, that is accountability, transparency, all these come under, where through communication, that is whatever the government is taking decisions, it is communicating with the citizens that the government has taken a decision, so we are providing this, we are in the meeting, we have concluded these remarks. So with this, what is happening? Everybody is having knowledge about the working of the government. So this is very important. Then transmission, then receiving, decoding, and acting. So this is the process which is involved in communication. Next is types of communication. Now there are many types of communications. We will talk about a few of them. That is, the first one is relationship. Relationship, that is, now relationship can be, now what is relationship? Relationship is having a interaction, a good interaction between one and another. This relationship can be formal and informal. Formal and informal. Formal, that is an official. Formal is, I'm using these two. There are in the types of communications. In that we are discussing first one, that is about relationship. In the relationship, there are two types, that is formal and informal. Formal communication is official channel. Official channel, that is in a meeting. In a meeting, where that is an official conversation, official communication which goes on. That is known as official channel, and it is also known as formal communication. That is, the hierarchy is followed. That is, the management will address the workers, the managers, the people who are working for them. That is a formal channel. And so that is one type of, and this is, we can come across this in many of the organizations, or in all organizations we come across the formal organization, formal interaction. That is known as formal communication. Then the second one is informal communication. Informal communication is exchange of ideas to make the things move forward. That is, if the two managers, or an informal meeting to address the problems, that is, it is not a formal based one. It having an example, better example can be having a meeting at a lunch, or having an interaction with everybody, with the workers, with the employees of the organization, in an we can say in a function, in a get together, in a social gathering, where exchange of ideas take place, everybody come and interact with one and another. That is known as informal communication. In this informal communication also, there will be many things. That is, the organization will try to address the problems of the employees and the workers. That is because now formally, there is a much difference between the formal and informal interaction. In the formal interaction, they have to follow the protocol, rules and regulations, procedures. And an informal one, there will be no protocol, no procedures, no systematical procedures, no rules and regulations. But in both the cases, things can be carried out and things can be done. Because at times we see in an formal interaction and informal communications, many things might not be able to come up. But in informal, because Now, take for example, in a formal meeting, the employees might not be able to come out with their ideas or problems with the management. But in a social gathering, in having tea and snacks, then the people will, without any rules and regulations, without any procedure or without any things, then they will be able to address the problems of the organization. So they will be, the managers or the management will be able to address the problems of the in an informal meeting. So that is the first one, important one. Then the second one is vertical and horizontal types of communication. Now, what is vertical and horizontal? Vertical is a straight line. Vertical communication is right from the management to the managers, then the supervisors, then the employees or the workers. That is the hierarchy, whatever we have, from the upward to the downward. So the management will be on the top position. Then the managers who are working with the management, they will be placed later. Like that, the hierarchy goes on. That is called as an upward communication or vertical communication, where the communication flows, the flow of communication will be from the top to bottom, and everybody will listen to the upward, that is the person whoever is giving out the orders. That is known as vertical communication. Then the second one is horizontal communication. Horizontal communication is the communication existing between two people in the same cadre. That is a production manager having a meeting or a conversation with the finance manager. Both are managers, means at the same level. Two workers who are working in each department equally, that is called as horizontal. Horizontal is a line where the people who are working in an equal designations, that is called as horizontal communication. Then coming to the third one, written communication. Written communication. Now, what is this written communication? Written communication consists of mails or the letters, the fax machines, the fax, or we can say emails, letter, files, where everything is written in a written format, in a typed format, which can be recorded and kept for some work. That is preserving, we can say, preserving of the record for future use. That is known as a written communication, where everything will be on record, everything will be written on a paper. It can be a mail, it can be a letter, it can be a file, it can be a fax, whatever is being put on the paper and which can be stored for some time, that is known as written communication. Then the next one is oral communication. Oral communication, the verbal language, the verbal where exchange of words take place. Through this also, now what are the devices, or we can say what can be, how can this oral communication can be? Now whatever we are experiencing is an oral communication, where you are listening to me and we are having an formal communication, where exchange of conveying of messages and conveying of the words is taking place. That is known as oral communication. Then next is what could be the communication devices? The communication, mostly Presently, we come across the communication devices. What used are the smartphones or the cell phones, the internet, all these TV, televisions, fax machines, where all these are considered to be communication devices which help the people to or the organizations to work properly and to get information through a proper channel and to get everything done in a system. That is, these are the communication devices. Then the last one is there are many barriers of communication also. What do you mean by barriers of communication? There are some hurdles for good communication to go on. Now, what might be the barriers of communication? There are content barriers, transmission barriers, content barriers, context barriers, and human barriers. So, now what is content barrier? Content barrier is, now if somebody gives you a message, and if in that given message, if there is no proper information, now if for example, if the organization wants to hold a meeting, and if the organization does not give proper message, that is, when is the meeting, will be in the meeting, at what time the meeting will be, in which room the meeting will be, who will be attending the meeting. This is the contents of the meeting. If this message goes on to everybody, and everybody will feel that I got a mail, or I got a letter, I got a circular, but these things are missing, the contents are missing. So where to attend? How should I attend? Who is addressing the meeting? Where to go? All these are the content barriers, we can say. Then transmission, as I told you, transmission barrier, that is properly transmitted one, conveying. If they don't convey the message properly, then there will be a lot of disturbance going on. Then the next one is context. As I told you, context. What is context? And for what reason they are going for a meeting? If they don't know, suddenly if they call, then everybody will be in a chaos, or everybody will get disturbed. Why this meeting? Why? For what reason? Do we know the context of the meeting? Because I am busy, I may not be able to attend. These are some things which go on in everybody's mind and which will create barriers. So the communication should be very, very transparent, systematic, and the devices, whatever are to be used, have to be done in a very proper channel. So these are the context barriers. And then the last one is human barriers. As we all know, human barriers is the most important one. The human beings, or the people in the office who are working, they don't convey the message properly. Some of them hide the messages. Some of them delete the messages. Some of them don't convey the message in a systematical order, or some of them, they create disturbances and convey whatever has to be conveyed, they don't convey. These are the hurdles which are being faced by human beings in an organization, and we can say that this can be a huge barrier for the organization. So this is all about communication, types of communication, the process of communication, and the barriers of communication. Next, we will discuss about records management. Now, what do we mean by a word record? Record refers to the vast bulk of correspondence and other type of documents which are created, received, and stored in any organization. So, what is a record? Record is a vast or bulk of correspondence or another type of document which are created and received and stored in a systematical procedure. Now, this is the record. Now, what is records management? Record management. Now, whenever we go to a government, we see this records management mostly in government offices. Why? Because the government has to take care of the data of all the citizens, each and everybody, and it has to store the data also. But now, for example, we take elections, the voters. So the election commission will have all the voters' data. How many of males are there, females are there, how many voters are there in each place, each area. This is called as record management. So all the government organizations have to maintain this records, and which will help the organization to flourish properly when they maintain this records management. Now, what is the reason for this records to be maintained, or what are the reasons to why we have to maintain the records? Why? Because records are retained for planning and programming of future activities. That is, for if the organization maintains the records, if the organization maintains all the records of the previous years, then it will be easy for the organization to plan the next future, or they can plan for the future activities, that is to gain more profits or to attain more profits, we can say. So this is one of the most important reason we can say. Then the second important one is records provide information about the past activities and past decisions. Now, we come across mostly in government offices, that is in the government, where the past governments, what decisions they have taken, what all policies have been implemented, what all programs were implemented, and how far they were implemented, who are the beneficiaries, how this has been, programs have implemented, all these will be taken care of. So that this records have to be maintained for future use. Then the next third important one we can say is administration. Yeah, in the records management, administration is a continuous process, and the records ensure continuity in administration. As I told you, we in the government to go on, or to have a smooth administration, the government should maintain all the records of the citizens and as well as the employees, because the employees who earned the governments also, because who has taken what, that is which government has taken what decisions, what were the policies which have been initiated, what are the programs which were being taken up, how they were being implemented, all has to be taken care of. Then the next important reason we can say is records contain information which quickens and sharpens the process of decision making. If the government or if the organization has the record on the table in front of them, then there will be a scope for quick decisions. There will be a scope for sharp decisions. within no time they can take decisions pertaining to any of the things. So it will be very easy for everybody to go on in this decision making process. Then, as we all know, but at times we see that the organizations come across that there will be a huge problem for the records to be managed. Previously, the records were managed in the store, in the records rooms, where huge spaces were being occupied, and this was a very big problem for the organizations to move on with the record management. But presently, the government and all the organizations, might be the government sector or the private sector, nowadays it has been very easy for everybody to maintain the records, because nowadays the use of technology has paved the way for a better maintaining of the records, we can say. That is through all the data is being saved in the pen drives or in an hardware disks, and all these, where the information will be stored years together. Information will be stored, and whenever, and the time will be it will be the time taken to take up these records will be also it will take less time, and they can take whatever the record they have to check, the time taken will be also in a short period. And with this, with making the records or taking up the records or improving the record management, it improves the efficiency and effectiveness of the officials in the government sector, and as well as the employees who are working in the private sector. Because of this records management, the decision making will be more effective in less time, and quick decisions can be taken. So this is all about the records management. So in the today's class, we discussed about office accommodation, office layout, the office communication and correspondence, and the records management. So this is all about the today's class of office accommodation, layout, and communication and records management. So any doubts regarding today's class, you can come up. Any clarifications you need regarding the class, or any doubts you have regarding the class, you can come up. Okay then, thank you.